Hello, this is Kimberly Brown, and I'd like to explain some specific rules for the Rosenberg Housing Authority's Housing Choice Voucher Program. Today, you will be given a voucher that will be good for 60 days. Your voucher size has been determined based upon our current subsidy standards. The Housing Authority will assign one bedroom for each 2 persons within the household, except in the following circumstances. Persons of the opposite sex, other than spouses and children under 5, will be allocated separate bedrooms. You will see this rule applied to your current voucher size that you will be issued today. Please take time to go through the packet that is provided to you. It will provide more detailed information than what the video has highlighted and what we will highlight in the presentation today. Remember, you are responsible for understanding the information that has been given to you in the packet and in the video. If after today's presentation you are unclear about anything that has been presented, please ask the Housing Authority staff for an explanation. If you look through your packet, here are some of the brochures that you will have access to that you may read at your own leisure. We will only go through a few of the packets that are listed here. The Housing Authority has recently extended its jurisdiction to include many parts of Fort Bend County. This jurisdiction map can be found in your briefing packet. The Rosenberg Housing Authority now allows for housing search in Katy, Sugar Land, Stafford, Missouri City, and Needville. Also in the packet will be a list of apartments that are here in Rosenberg that we work with. And this is what that packet looks like. Also enclosed in your packet is a green stapled packet, which is specifically for new landlords that are not listed on the previous screen. This packet explains the lease-up process to them, and it is important that if they are not on the list previously, that you give this packet to any landlord that's not listed. And this is what the packet looks like. It explains the rules of the program to the landlord, and there are 2 pages within the packet that needs to be returned to the Housing Authority, along with the owner's proof of ownership. The 2 pages indicate how that information can be submitted back to the Housing Authority. If your landlord has any questions, they can always contact us. When you walk out the door today, your next step is to find a place to live. There is a yellow inspection packet that is probably the most important packet that we're going to talk about today. Once you've found a place that you would like to rent and that you have looked at, you must then pass the landlord's eligibility process, and then once you have passed it, the landlord should fill out the yellow inspection packet that's inside the folder. And this is what that packet looks like. You will fill out everything that is highlighted in orange, and the landlord will fill out the rest. The Housing Authority suggests that once the packet is filled out, that you personally come and bring the paperwork back. You can have the landlord bring it back, but you run the risk that they might forget, and you run the risk of possibly having your voucher expired without that being returned. The yellow packet needs to be returned to the office before your voucher expires. The sooner, the better. So regardless of whether you can move in before the voucher expires, the yellow packet ties your voucher to the unit. The voucher will suspend when the yellow packet has been turned in. If the yellow packet has a landlord that has been listed on the sheet that we have provided, of a list of available landlords, the process will move very quickly. If the landlord is not on the provided list, keep in mind that that is perfectly fine and okay. The process will just take a little longer due to verifying the landlord's ownership and reasonable rent. Even though the landlord list only shows apartment complexes, you are not limited to those. You can also look for houses, duplexes, townhomes. You are not limited to just apartments. One thing to keep in mind, please do not move into the unit until it has passed the Housing Authority's inspection. Your only exception would be is if you're already currently living in the unit. Also keep in mind that the Housing Authority will contact you when the unit passes. You do not need to continue to call the Housing Authority about the inspection results. We will contact you. Now, leases can start on any day of the month, and the start date is going to depend upon the agreed upon date between you and your landlord. You must submit a lease with your yellow packet. It will not be accepted without one. When the unit passes, you must then go and sign the lease if you have not already done so, and it must be returned by the next business day. If you fail to do so, this could result in a possible change to your move-in date because it will now be decided by the Rosenberg Housing Authority. If the lease starts mid-month, please keep in mind that you will be responsible for a prorated portion when you move in and your full portion at the first of the month. Do not wait until the last minute to turn in your yellow packet. Your lack of finding a unit does not necessitate an emergency on our end. We cannot rush it because you've turned your packet in at the very last minute. Now, if there is a problem with either the unit that has been listed on the yellow packet, the landlord, or the rent amount, and you need to find another unit, the voucher time will be extended to include the time of the suspension. You will get a full 60 days in which to find a unit. Now, by turning in the yellow packet, you lock that unit to the voucher. And even if you move in past the date of the voucher expiring, that unit is still good. Now, here's a warning. If the voucher has expired, including all extensions, and the unit is inspected and it is disqualified, there will be no more time to find another unit and you must reapply for housing. Just know that the Rosenberg Housing Authority ensures that the rent that is being charged to you is both reasonable and that the unit passes HQS and that the lease has been approved. The Rosenberg Housing Authority will determine your portion of the rent, and your portion of the rent must be paid directly to the landlord at only the amount that you have certified that you will pay. And the Housing Authority will send our payment as well to the landlord. Once the unit passes and you sign a lease, it must be a 1-year lease, and a copy of that signed lease must be provided to the Rosenberg Housing Authority. If you have not signed up for assistance check, we ask that you do that immediately. We ask that you follow the instructions in your packet as to how to set it up if you haven't already. And this is the fastest way to communicate with housing. And this is a picture of the brochure that you will find in your packet explaining how to log into assistance check. If you have not done so, you will also need to get a PIN number when we pull you in for the voucher issuance a little bit later so that you can set up your account. This is what assistance check looks like. This is our online portal in which you communicate with the housing authority and you make any changes to your account. Reporting changes. The housing authority defines a change as any adjustment in your family size or any adjustment in your income since your eligibility interview. Any changes in these two categories must be reported to the housing authority 60 days from the change. When a change is reported, you need to provide verifying documents of that change, and these can all be submitted on assistance check. Remember, this is the only way in which we accept changes is through assistance check, which is our online portal. And here again, if you are not on assistance check, but you need assistance, you can come into the office on any Tuesday for Tech Tuesday from 1:30 to 3:30, and at that time we can issue your PIN number and help you set it up. Now, any changes that have occurred to your income since the eligibility interview, here again, need to be reported as a change, and they will be adjusted after you are on the program. Some things that you need to keep in mind and remember. Your units will be inspected every 1 to 2 years. Since you are new on the program, you will receive an inspection in a year. After that, we will switch to biannual inspections. There is a brochure in your packet called A Good Place to Live. This is included and it helps explain what the inspector will be looking for during an inspection, and it goes room by room and it provides graphics so that you or your landlord will know specifically what we're looking for. Please make sure that you protect your voucher. And what I mean by that is to be careful with the people that you allow to come in and visit or to be your guest. Remember, their inappropriate behavior could result in you losing your voucher. You are allowed to move once every year. So when you're approaching the end of your lease, make sure that you provide the proper written notice that must be given to both the landlord and to the housing authority. Today, you will be provided with rent estimator sheets, and these sheets will show you the rent range that you must stay within while you are looking for a unit. Remember, the Housing Choice Voucher Program is not a free rent program. You are going to be required to pay 30% of your income toward rent. And you must stay within the range that has been provided. If you go outside of the range, your inspection packet will be denied. This is a picture of what a rent estimator sheet will look like. The part that is highlighted or circled in orange is the rent range you must stay within if you're looking for either an apartment or for a house. You notice that there is a purple arrow that is pointing toward the left side of the sheet. You can always go less than the rent range that we've provided, but you can never go over the high end of the rent range. And remember, these numbers are only estimates, but if your rent does not fall within this range, that unit is ineligible for you to put on the program. So some things that you need to do. You need to, of course, return that yellow packet before the voucher expires. You need to start looking for a place immediately. You must pay your application fees and you must pay your security fees, and these fees cannot exceed 1 month's rent. You need to read all your mail or your email, and you need to attend all meetings that have been scheduled for you by the housing authority. If for any reason you cannot make these meetings, you must call the housing authority and we can reschedule for you. Make sure that you log into Assistance Check whenever you receive an email that information is available. The email that is tied to your Assistance Check account must be an email that you frequently look at, because that is where you will receive notification of information that has changed in your account. Again, please make sure you protect your voucher by being selective when it comes to allowing guests in your apartment. Remember that you report any changes to the people that are in your household and to the income that you have within 60 days of the occurrence. Do not pay more than 1 month's rent for your security deposit. Do not wait until the last minute to start looking for a place. Do not move into a unit until it first passes an HQS inspection. And do not pay more to your landlord in rent than the amount that has been provided by the housing authority. Do not allow anyone to live in your unit other than the ones that you have informed us will be living with you. Thank you for your time.